What's good, world? Welcome to season 1, episode 7. Have you found your crown? Today's episode, I almost gave up on everything. So, with this theme of this episode, I wanted to be just be straight, being vulnerable and opening myself up to express, you know, a lot more of the dips. I don't want to call them downs. I'm gonna call them the dips because we have to remember that in this career and this evolution of design, of being a creative, of being in business, there's moments and there's times where you have to be persistent in your faith in yourself and what you want to accomplish, and you have to make that the main idea. There's a lot of things that uh, I want to touch on. I'm going to make this one as raw as possible. I want to first talk about the financial stress. I think, in every areas and all facets of life, from the richest to the poorest, um, the thought and idea of finances weighs heavy on us. And that's something that we definitely need to talk about, and how to curate a mindset that keeps you stable, and knowing that sometimes you have to grind outside your grind to make your dreams happen. And you got to do what you got to do. That's one thing I will say. This is not easy. This is not for the faint. This is not for people who just want things to happen instantly. Low motivation. The second thing I want to get into. Now, we all know that motivation is a key factor. You have to know how to motivate yourself, how to push yourself, how to encourage yourself, because you're not going to always have that from others. And sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, the results of what you're doing isn't going to always bring motivation. Now, this third one right here, feeling lost. You know, there's no uh, plan or no real route to execute to success, because I think everyone's personal success is for them, and everyone's personal road is for themselves as well. So we have to remember that, you know, feeling lost is normal. You're going to feel like that, but you also need to stay encouraged. And that's part of the fourth topic of why I kept going, and why I continue to go, and why I continue to pursue my dreams, to continue to push through, even starting things like this. Have you found your crown? Not just about like-minded people, because there's not going to always be like-minded people, but like-hearted people. I want to start using that more for sure. So yeah, we're going to get into this episode. It's going to be a good one. I appreciate always for checking me out. And yeah, let's get into it. What's up, guys? So, as I said in the intro, today's topic, uh, I almost gave up on everything. I really wanted to get vulnerable and open myself up to, what I feel like a lot of people go through: building a brand, building business, just building self identity. Uh, I think every day you wake up is a new start to pursue and push through all of the self doubt, all of the self agony, all of just, beating yourself down. Like, that right there is life. And anybody that's kind of going through those things, I don't want you to feel like, you're the only one, or that's abnormal. It's super normal to find new ways on how to pursue and push through to get through your dreams, because everyone's chasing a dream, and unfortunately we are in a rat race amongst ourselves at times. And that's why it's important to get out of that, and also have the mindset to not think like that, because we all get caught up in that. That's just life. But the first thing that I definitely want to talk about is just financial stress, and just being vulnerable now. No, I'm not where I want to be financially. I'm super blessed where I come from, and I'm always constantly reminding myself of that. And I don't think that it's a thing of like self pity or doubt, because a lot of times when people, oh, I come from the hood, but I really come from the bottom. I really come from, like, circumstances and neighborhoods that, like, it's not easy to make it out of. And that motivation right there has always been a key factor of what I refer back to. And I think a lot of times on this journey, you have to have things that motivate you, things that push you, things that remind you of why you are where you are and what you want to do. Why is what you want to do so important? Excuse me. You have to have those checkpoints in life that you can refer back to. You know, I've built that off image. I built that off my grind. I've built that off my background. I've built that off a lot of what I've been through. And so I like to push through and pursue those things through my business, through my brand. Um, you know, financial stress, like I said in the intro, is not just on brand building and, you know, event spaces or, you know, whatever business. That's just in life general. Bills, if you don't have money, you can't really do what you want to do. You know, it's very hard. But there are a lot of ways and things that are out here to help us. And this is where you have to look in the mirror and look at yourself. And it's like, am I doing all that I can to gain the access to what I want? You know, it's not all money. And I know I'm not the wealthiest of where I'm going to obtain, but I know and have the mindset already that you can have all the money you have, you know, you want. You're not doing much or going far without the right network and the right collection of people. And that's super important. And money, I don't think can buy you, you know, per se, an actual connection. But I think money can get you into doors, and using your finances right can get you into doors of networking. And also realizing that you taking that last and putting it into something you believe in, or you using that last and buying a ticket to an event and a networking event, and you know that certain people are going to be in the rooms, you got to take those chances. I don't know anyone that's successful that has not taken chances. So do not let stress of finances and stresses of your current situation block you from your dreams and your goals and your blessings from your future. And that's a problem with a lot of people. I think that we, including myself, I have to check myself daily. This is why I started this, you know, because these are real life uh, agony and pain and thoughts that I go through. And it's like, why not share it with the world? So, you know, look into, I'm not going to go straight to like loans and things like that, but there are all type of grants and all type of programs, and specifically for minority entrepreneurs. And I hate to say it, and a lot of times my problem is why people don't like to read. We don't. I had to get on myself better with that. Read, study. The same time you're spending complaining and thinking about what you don't have or what could be, you could make happen. Don't waste time. Super, super valuable. That's the most valuable thing you have is time. And that has to be a constant reminder. And once you start thinking with that certain mindset, you're going to push through and pursue things a lot quicker. You're going to be a lot more persistent. For some reason, as humans, we tend to react a lot more when we realize time is of the essence. So let's, like I said, we know that the financial stress will be there, but let's learn to jump on that. Let's learn to move past that, and let's learn to not make that our end all be all. Low motivation. Now, this is one thing that I'm super, super proud of myself about over the years of being able to look in the mirror and really find self motivation and look at my career within image consulting and business and brand development, and be super proud of the collabs and, you know, artists and designers I've worked with and all of these things. Like when I'm feeling low and I feel like, because to this day, if I'm being completely honest, I feel that people overlook me. um you know, people bypass me, people try to block blessings. You know, I know that I'm one, and this is for the people that know it's something special within you. And not only know it's something special within you, but know that there's going to be people that are going to try to block your blessings and try to block who you are and want you to dim your light to make their light shine brighter, that's not the people for you. And a lot of times, unfortunately, in this career, specifically within business and fashion and design and things like that, you're going to run into a lot of people who feel that you have to dim your light to make their light shine brighter. And coming from one of the brighter stars, that's never the case. Motivation comes from within. Remember that. It starts and ends with yourself. It starts and ends with how you look at yourself in the mirror. What do you see in the eyes? What do you feel? And if you don't like what you see, if you're not happy with what you're pursuing, thank God for time. Remember I said it's of the essence. It's a factor. It's important. Now, when you start thinking of all of these things, you don't even have time to have low motivation. You got to continue to push yourself and motivate yourself every day. Don't look to the world for those things. And I know with low motivation, comes our third topic of feeling lost. And this is why I put them together, because I feel that they're, piggyback off each other. And, you know, that journey and that road to success and that road to joy and happiness and to our dreams, it's super important to remember that, sometimes when you feel lost, it's not that you're lost. It's just that the self pressure that you put on yourself, the self dreams that you put on yourself, the thoughts that you put on yourself, those things, make you feel like you're not where you need to be. And a lot of times that comes from us judging. Especially, this is why, we're in this era of social media, in this in this era of follow me, and this era of, if you don't see what others have online, then you're behind. I'm here to tell you, this world that we live in is the Wizard of Oz. If you've never seen that movie, go watch that. Because at the end of the day, if we pull back the curtain on a lot of people and a lot of things that you are quoted motivated by, or uh, feel like you're behind, you'll realize there's a lot more people in the position of you, just like you, just trying to figure it out. And that's what life is. Every day you're waking up, you're just trying to figure it out. These are why all of these topics coexist with one another. It, your motivation, like I said, starts with your image of yourself and your feelings of yourself. And as long as you keep a strong rapport with yourself, strong motivation with yourself, happy thoughts and joyful moments with yourself, you could push through any low motivation, any time that you're feeling lost. You got to keep your eye on the prize. And all of these things, it's like I feel like I wasn't tired of the dream. I was tired of struggling alone, in a sense. And I don't want people to watch this who are in my corner on my team to feel like that's a shot. But I tell anyone, self journey is self journey. And all of what we're pursuing and all of what we're pushing through is just for that. That don't mean to be selfish, but yes, sometimes you have to be selfish within figuring out who you are, building your self motivation, building how do you think about yourself. I'm not saying that, the words and critiques of others can't help with that, but I don't want you to base your ideologies of you off others' ideologies. And that's important. Compartmentalize who you are to yourself and yourself to others. It's two different versions. Who you get when other people leave out their house is two different versions. You know, so let's keep that in mind, and let's not be so hard on ourselves, and continue to push ourselves and motivate ourselves, and understand that every day, like I said, and I'm gonna keep saying that this episode, every day is a new day. Every day is a chance to, anything you lacked on the day before, I don't care what it is, a post, if you misread something, if you didn't like the way you woke up, if you use every day to better yourself. Use every day to better your image of yourself. Use every day to continue to read things and pursue things that are good for you, that make you feel good. That is important. That is important. That is important. And I think all of these sum up, why I kept and why I keep going. There are so many times where I felt like, man, over a decade in, I don't feel like my brand is where it should be. Man, over a decade in, I don't have the followers like I thought I would. Man, over a decade and a half in, I don't have the views that I thought I would. And it's a very emotional thing. I'll be honest. And like I said, I'm being super vulnerable. There are a lot of times where I just feel like, should I give up? Should I pursue a different career? Should I move on from Godly? Should I move on from the heat checks? Should I move on from doing my reaction videos? Should I move on from doing my Have You Found Have You Found Your Crown series? And when I remember that I'm not doing this for quote unquote, the hypeness and the siceness of what comes or what evolves from that. Of course, I want to go viral. Of course, I would love everyone to tune into all that I have going on and enjoy it. But that's not reality. And I have to remember that, one, what am I doing this for? Who am I doing this for? And to answer those questions, and I'm still deep diving within that, but I'm definitely doing these things for myself and for other people who push me and who are motivated by what I do and love what I do and love my eye for creativeness and dopeness. And, I feel that uh, whether it's one or two people, 1 or 2 thousand people, 1 or 2 million people, it's all about being consistent. And that is one thing that all of these things and all of what I've been through have allowed me to do, is stay consistent and not be hesitant within pursuing my dreams. Now, that's big. Do not be hesitant. All my sports, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Don't hit it with the hezzy, you know what I'm saying? Like, go straight to the hole. Go straight, go get a bucket. You know what I mean? I love sports, excuse me, so I'm going to always use that, sometimes as an ideology or reference. But yeah, do not be hesitant in your pursuit, and know that your how do you carry yourself and look at yourself and look at the things that you do and how you push things out there, that's how other people are going to perceive them and take them. And so we have to remember that, you know, if you want people to be excited and joyful and, be consistent with you, you have to be consistent with what you put out. You have to be joyful with what you put out. You have to put that energy into it. And so I hope that even within this series, from episode 1 to this episode 7, you have seen growth, even if that's me becoming more comfortable on camera. Not saying as much, realizing that, oh, this is I know what I'm talking about. So that, like I said, is all the motivation I need and I'm going to continue to need and continue to push through. And I'm just super excited about where I am as far as within my mindset. And I really hope that this episode, even if you got to go back to it and listen through and, pinpoint certain notes, please note it down, write it down. Um, Always reference back to this just for motivation, just to push through. You could do it. You could do it. You could do it. Success is for everyone, but it's about your faith. It's about what you're willing to endure to get to it and just figuring out your path. Like always, I appreciate you guys for checking me out. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube or Mickeyswave YouTube. That's where these Have You Found episodes in these series is. I'm going to continue to push these out. We're coming up to like our last 3 episodes. Each season we're going to do 10 episodes. So I'm just super excited about getting this one going. And yeah, I really hope you're enjoying it. Make sure, like I said, to like and subscribe. Comment some moments, some favorite moments of yours or anything. If you disagree, agree. I would just love to start some threads. Like always, I appreciate you guys once again. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.